Okay, last night, Duke Roufus passed away in his sleep. You know, Duke Roufus was a guy that I got to know really through the IKF, who made a website, right, to follow their fight game. And so they came around at the time of the internet. And so this website was actually bigger than actual kickboxing. I've talked about this, how, wrestling magazines and Crockett of the NWA could create a reality that wasn't there. This is Duke Roufus behind me in the Milwaukee Arena. He's a Wisconsin boy, so are the Pettis brothers and whatnot, beating up Pedro Pitbull Fernandez. Now, Pedro Fernandez is from Tijuana, and consequently, I sparred Fernandez. And I remember sparring Fernandez, and I handily outboxed him. I only sparred one round with him. And then after that, Doug Dickey was all over me. Like, oh, yeah, you did amazing, blah, blah, blah. And, everybody else who went with Pedro that day lost pretty easily. My trainer, Marshall Hamill, I think Danny Grubb sparred him. A couple other people sparred him. And so it was a recognition, however briefly, like, that I had some skill in the game. And it was a weird moment because Pedro went on to fight a bunch of guys in kickboxing. He fought Rick Roufus, Duke's brother, in the first K1, American K1 in Las Vegas. But let's not focus on Pedro Fernandez and let's focus on Duke Roufus and the Roufus brothers. So I grew up watching Rick Roufus in PKA full contact rules, where you had to kick above the waist and you had to kick eight kicks around or they DQ'd you because they didn't want to make it into like low level boxing. And Rick was a really fun fighter to watch, and he fought there as like a super middleweight. And then he went all the way up to heavyweight by the time he was doing leg kick sparring and whatnot. Now, Duke really wasn't known in the full contact kicks above the waist world. He was more known as a Muay Thai guy. And when the IKF started taking off with their website, they promoted him as their pro Muay Thai rules champion. And it made sort of Duke Roufus the first American heavyweight Muay Thai champion, if you will. And I'm sure one of those defenses or the title was beating Pedro Pitbull Fernandez behind you there. But like everything else, like Pedro came across, fought him in Milwaukee, that was Duke's hometown. I'm sure everything was made for Duke to win that fight. And I have no knowledge beyond that. I mean, Duke may have been a better fighter than Pedro. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I was in prison with a couple Mexican guys from Tijuana that told me Pedro's got a gym now in TJ, and that's where he went. He used to be a dancer for like the Chippendales in TJ, which is kind of funny. But listen, we cannot understate the impact that Duke Roufus and his brother Rick had on the game. His passing is very tragic. And of course, it makes us say performance-enhancing drugs. I mean, what else could you think? A guy dies in his 50s in his sleep like that. Maybe we'll find out some more things. Maybe we won't. Maybe we don't need to know. But it's a warning to everybody about health and about what you do in this life. And yeah, it's sad. We lost one of the legends in the sport, a pioneer to say the least. Yeah, it's tragic, man. I love the way he converted himself. I think it was in '08 I read, from a fighter to a coach. And, the Pettis brothers were examples, and a lot of other big name fighters. Ben Rothwell came by his gym. Askren came by his gym. A couple others. But yeah, Roufus Sport, I guess, will go on without Duke. But what a legendary guy, man. There when nobody else was. Yeah. Like and follow for more on the fight game.